She doesn't address you first. It appears like she's got like a little like table kind of rolled out in front of her, and you can see she's like looking at some sort of paperwork. She's kind of like cycling through files and kind of like as she sees you approach about halfway across the floor, her eyes glance up at you. And Zian, I assume you're taking the lead here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as they look at you, you feel this kind of deep, unsettling emotion. The source of the not good feeling is clearly like right here.
Yeah.
And she kind of like picks up papers and she does that thing where she kind of taps them very slowly to order them. She slides them into a folder and she kind of like binds it up with the string that's around it. And you see she kind of like she pushes a button on the chair and this little like cabinet comes up and she kind of files the folder and she pushes a button and it descends. And she kind of like she swings the table away from her so it goes around to the back of the chair and she's just kind of sitting there. And as you get to like this circular part of the floor right here, right? As you get to this area, it's clear that you're meant to stop because you can see the canines. They kind of like brace themselves. The one like starts to ignore its bone, and the other one is looking very intently. Now, here is an interesting thing that I need to do. I actually need to make a roll here. Now, you guys may or may not know what these are. If you do, don't metagame it. Don't. Well, good luck to you then.
I fucking knew it.
So, luckily, they kind of they're observing all of you with equal impunity at this point. They're kind of just eyeing the room. But yeah, all of you get the sense that like even though these things look vicious and that they would be a danger to deal with, you know the true threat is the one seated in the chair up above them. And she kind of she kind of waits for you all to address her in whatever manner.
So I guess I kind of take the lead and say, Madam Janice, we have come to negotiate on behalf of, oh god, what are they called?
Zulzan.
Zulzan?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see kind of impassively, maybe like a flit across her face of annoyance. But she kind of looks and she says, "Interesting, but you are not them. Not at least officially."
That is true. We do not have any allegiance to this group.
Then, if you don't mind my asking, what, pray tell, is your interest in this business venture that they have?
A acquaintance of ours has unfortunately become wrapped up in some nasty business that we prefer to get him out of.
Oh. And who might this be?
Dash gives Zion a look.
I was like, that's as much as we need to say right now.
Yeah, and I think a small like smile kind of flits up. And she kind of evaluates the group of you for a moment. And Zian, as she kind of like turns and addresses the group of you, you're able to kind of take in the picture a little bit more, and your eyes finally fall on the red like object, the red crystal that is around her neck, or at least it looks like a crystal. It's kind of like it's not a crystal. It looks almost like a pendant, like a hollow pendant with like glass and these little metal wires that kind of connect it. But it's in like some sort of polyhedral shape.
Yeah.
And why don't you roll me a? I think discipline was the last one we used. That seems like the most appropriate here. So why don't you roll me an average discipline check here?
Okay.
And I'm going to use a dark side point because there is a chance for something very bad to happen.
Well, in that case, I better flip one back.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Upgrade on both sides. All right, let's see it. Roll a discipline. Oof. The red dice never lucky.
I'm one with the force, and the force is with me.
Yeah, exactly. You 100%. You 100% one with the force. This. And you find yourself intrigued by this object. It seems to, like, for a moment almost pulse, and like you can feel your vision kind of tunnel in on it for a moment. And you're kind of like shake your head and snap out of it, and are able to like kind of draw yourself back with your discipline.
Okay.
And yeah, and you recover a strain as well because you're like, no, I'm like, I am a Jedi and I am strong and this is what I need to be. So you kind of steel yourself a little more resolve, add a little more resolve to your
Perfect
persona. So as she's evaluating you, she says, "Very well. Tell me, what are the terms of this arrangement that they want? I assume they would not have sent a third party if it was not going to be amicable for both sides."
And I'll just explain what the Zolzan want and what they're preparing to offer.
Yeah, and there are a couple of times maybe her eyes narrow a little bit, but maybe she kind of just like nods, like, yeah, expected. And I think that at the end of it, she says, "And what assurances do I have that I will get what belongs to me back?"
Well, you'll have my personal assurance, but like I said, we don't owe these people allegiance. We're just trying to help someone out of a bad situation.
Interesting. This seems to be reasonable. It is also interesting that you bring so many people to bring a simple message. Tell me, I don't think I caught it, and I am at a disadvantage. You know my name, but I do not know yours.
My name's Mouse.
Yeah, and I think she smiles, and she turns to Mouse, and she gives you like almost like a warm, like kind of look, and she says, "You are very earnest, Mouse. Whoever gave you that name was, well, it was given in love."
After Mouse's outburst, I'll just kind of bow and introduce myself as Zian Riel.
Yeah. She goes, "A good, strong name for one who is so cool and calm in such negotiations."
I kind of give her a knowing kind of look, I guess.
Yeah. She kind of looks expectantly at the rest of you, but also, like, you know, she was addressing Zian, so if you guys don't say anything, it's kind of understandable. But she is kind of questioning why there's 5 of you instead of just, like, one person to bring a message.
Well, Dash, kind of like, not really wanting, not seeming like the shy person that would just, be like, when someone asks you, you're just gonna be quiet. He kind of like says, Dash Crew, as he kind of like puffs his chest, kind of like proudly. In a way.
Yeah, and I think she,
like...
yeah, and she recognizes the localization of your name, Dash. Or at least since you gave her your surname, Creel. And she goes, "Creel. Loco. Interesting. Also, it appears that you may have served. The way that you hold your body position tells me so. And the jacket."
"I have, ma'am."
"Not many would recognize that particular set of symbols."
"Well, thank you for recognizing them. He kind of like gives a kind of like in a way smile, kind of like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, oh, this person recognizes things like that. That's appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, like, Lucia Janice is a local too. She probably knows enough about what's going on. And she turns. She actually looks at Kin for a moment, and I would say maybe her brow furrows a little bit. And she says, "You are an interesting specimen, to say the very least. What model are you?"
I am a Model K security.
Hey. I can say in my brief interaction with droid companies, I have not recognized that one.
Yeah, that's because it's an old model, like really old.
Indeed, ancient models of droids.
Yeah,
That's kind of like it. Oh.
She kind of motions like to her area, and she says, "It may be no surprise to you, but I am a collector of sorts. Do you think that your masters would be willing to part with you? I think that adding you to a collection would be most beautiful, with a little cleanup, of course. Get all of that fixed."
Say the whole famous word.
Yeah, she says, like, get all of that fixed, and she, like, motions to, like, her eye, right? Like, your damage and stuff.
I'm kind of thinking that Mouse will recognize this as, Kin will...
I fixed him just fine.
Alright. Yeah. I am my own man. I doubt that anyone you ask will be happy to be on this page.
Oh, well, very well. Should you change your mind and perhaps want to become part of the collection, let me know. I will not force you, though. I am a honorable woman, one of integrity, and one who believes in the freedom of the people, should they choose to want it.
Kin will start thinking about the people who were in the casino and the way they acted when they had to go up here. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, miss. I'm not saying that in character.
Yeah, and I think she kind of like, she looks at Jax for a moment, which I assume, Jax, are you giving anything up here? Or are you just gonna remain silent? Yeah, I think
I give her a nod that, like, I acknowledge you are there and that you are a powerful. Like, I'm not being disrespectful.
Yeah,
That's Jax.
Shoot a dirty look at
I think
Mouse.
everybody in the party makes a note not to bring Mouse to any social negotiations ever again. She goes, I'm so sorry, but is your friend a mute?
No, he's just, I don't know. Maybe he's feeling shy.
I'll just look and say, I just don't have anything to add.
Very well. Well, that at least makes one of us, because I do have something to add. I need some sort of confirmation that what I am to receive, what is rightfully mine, is intact before I commit pen to paper, as they say. What can you do in reference to this?
I think we kind of like.
I don't think we had anything on this.
Yeah, like, did we have a plan
like
for
we
a
kind
trial?
of look at each other and realize, we don't know what's the state of the lover. I'm guessing that we all just silently look at each other. It's like, oh, we don't know what's his state.
Yeah, like literally the only thing you have is you have Hakan's number, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could calm her right now. That seems a little sketchy. I don't know.
I don't think we should be calming her on that frequency building.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I guess best we can do is say we don't have anything now, but we can get the proof and like set up a neutral third party location for transfer and signing documents, I guess.
Yeah, I think she kind of nods and she says, so you truly are at least unaware of the situation. Well, be that as it may, I would say that our conversation here is drawing to a close. Would you not?
Just kind of nod, I guess.
Very well. When you have the remainder of the information, talk to Raquel outside. She will be able to, well, obtain your information and where we can coordinate later.
And just want to add, sorry,
You go.
I just want to add to make sure there's a way to get back up to here, or wherever we need to go to talk to her, so we're not just like stumbling around,
Yeah, and I think she just nods and she says, give Raquel your names. They will know at the door.
Okay.
And please, feel free to partake in any of the games or activities as you depart.
Okay.
I do a respectful bow as we turn to leave, I guess.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. He kind of like says as he turns, basically walking through the goddamn hallway.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna roll a perception check for her. See if she notices anything. It was an average check.
She also dash the secret of the Messiah. No.
No, not quite.
No, Cyan is the Messiah.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, she notices something as you leave. I think what she notices is Xian, you take one last glance at her necklace as you turn to leave. And she like her eyes probably meet yours for a moment, and she gives a small smile and just like a dismissive like nod. But she notices that you were looking at it. That's essentially the perception that she notices.
Gotcha.
So you all go to depart, and I think that as you like leave the doors, and they close behind you, that kind of like, I don't think any of you really realized how tense the air was until you walk outside. And when you enter back into the hallway, there's kind of like almost as if you were stepping outside for the first time after being locked up inside of your house all day. There's that kind of like wave of fresh air that hits you. And like you're not really sure what it was, but there was some like ominous presence in that room that you were just in. And
hey, I have a question. Why did we do that? We didn't have any information for her. That was dangerous.
We needed to know that she was open to a parlay. We brought the demand, Zuzan's demands. Yep. We now know what she wants, and we have all the we know what information we need to gather to bring both parties to the table.
Right.
It was a successful meeting.
It was very successful. It's suspiciously successful, to be honest.
I nod.
Emphatically, some might say.
For someone who's like super dangerous, she seems pretty agreeable. Does that strike anybody else as weird? Strikes me as weird.
I mean,
she has... You go.
I was gonna say, I mean, politicians are apparently nice. He kind of gives us an example, just kind of like saying like even evil people can be charismatic. like morally questionable people can be charismatic.
Also, sometimes be careful that you don't mistake kindness for just confidence.
Yeah. So I assume the group of you kind of like link up with Raquel, who you've been given the name of this woman outside, and she takes down your information, and yeah, she begins to she gives you like a direct comlink line to her desk, so that anytime you need to contact, you would be able to get to this desk.
Yeah, Jack's got a number.
You did indeed. Do you try and charm her on your way out?
No.
I mean,
I have 2 in charm.
Jax, you did leave Lucia Janice's throne room without being killed, so I mean, like, have some sort of clout here.
Try your luck.
Nah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna wait until she sees him shoot something, and then I'll try.
Okay. Good. Fantastic. So you all depart the area, and does anybody take her advice and partake in any of the games on their way out?
We need information. What?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Mouse. We don't have time for this.
Wait, I just want to try it once. Just once.
Is it like the slot machine, or you just want to throw a credit in the slot machine real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. How many credits do you want to bet?
Well, it's a slot machine. Like, you just put like a
so you like different slot machines have different buy-ins, right? Like there's a 5 credit slot machine, a 10 credit slot machine, a 20 credit slot machine, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try like the one that, I guess, the 5 credit slot machine.
Okay, yeah. So you just like throw 5 credits.
Roll me a mechanics check.
No, not mechanics, but there is definitely a check here. It's like the equivalent of a luck check, right? So I think that cool is probably the check that we make here.
Okay.
It's an average check, and it's just cool, man. Roll your cool. Let's see how you do. Oof.
Nope.
Wait, I gotta try one more time.
Okay.
I put another 5 credits in.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna put 5 credits in as well.
Yeah. Roll the cool check, Mouse.
Ian starts muttering about temptation leading to the dark side.
So Mouse, you get a success, which means you get your 5 credits back, and you get an additional success, so you get another 5 credits back, so you're back to 0. But I think that so the threat here, Mouse, just so you're aware, the threat is probably not like direct strain inducing, but it's probably like 2 threat. It's probably going to add a black dice to your next roll, right? Like that's probably the mechanic here, is that since you won, but you won with threat, it gets a little bit harder to win because the slot machines are all rigged, right? Because that's how slot machines work.
Yeah. Guys, I think I can win.
Yeah. So
10 credit one.
Jax just goes like, fuck it, 1 roll. He'll put in 5 credits as well.
All right, Jax, roll. All right. Yeah. You don't make it. You make your 5 credits back, right? That's how that works. So you break even.
Shrugs and like walks off.
Mouse, do you want to roll again?
Yeah, I think I can win. You go.
Yeah, 1 black dice.
Our system.
Gambling addiction.
Let's see it, Mouse. Ooh. 5 credits down the drain.
Yeah.
Can I try 10 credit one, please?
Yeah, you can absolutely try the 10 credit one. Go for it.
Okay.
No. Nope. There goes some money.
I'll try another one.
All right, it's gonna get 1. It's gonna get 1 black dice.
Are people taking notes of this?
Oh, hey, look at that. So you kind of hit a bit of a jackpot here, right? So like, you get your 10 credits back. You get the 10 credits you lost back, and then now you're positive 10 credits, right? You got 3 successes there. But the machine like does that thing that slot machines do that they say they don't, but they actually do. It resets now, so now it's not going to pay out. Like it's going to be much harder to pay out for a little while when you begin to use it.
How much did I get? 320.
So if you erased 10 the first time, you erased 10 from the first time, and then you gain 30 credits.
Oh my god, I'm not trying.
He gained 20, right? Because you have to pay 10 to play.
Yeah. He's a total of he's a net
10.
net 10 plus on what he had. Yeah, correct.
Cool.
I
would like to make a computer's check.
Oh no!
What?
You want to make you? All right. Do you want to try and determine whether or not
I'm just
the machine is
determining
rigged?
I'm determining how these machines work, on a logical, a logic based level,
Yeah.
In the future if I wanted to cheat.
Yeah. What's the percentage that they
what I would have
pay
to
out?
do in order to cheat the system?
Okay. Yeah. So I think that it's a hard check, and I'm adding a black dice because you don't have direct access to the internal workings. You basically just have a perception based access to it. So I'm adding a black dice to it. But you can go ahead and make a computer check to see if you can determine how these things work.
Okay.
Nope. This is not your field.
No idea. So Mouse, you're caught up in the euphoria of it all, right? So reduce strain, right? You're just this is actually kind of fun. Now and you're doing math, and you're so distracted by what's going on, and I think that everybody from the outside is Mouse is caught, right? She's in. This is how the Janus Corporation gets you. I'm
gonna tap Kin as the friend I am and tell him to help his friend. Because
Does someone tell Kin we need to get her out of here right now? She's she's too far gone. We need to leave.
She's running down the rat hole.
I think I can win this.
I think I know how this 100 credit one works.
Yeah, I know how.
I'm kind of torn. I don't know.
Gambling addictions aren't funny, you guys.
They're really not, to be fair. The odds are always against you, no matter how cool you are.
I don't mean to laugh, but
so Kin will walk over to Mouse and I could really use your help working on the droid. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the droid. Yeah. Let's go.
So you appeal to Mouse's sense of better nature as she gives one last longful look over her shoulder as you depart at the slot machines and all the spinning lights and sounds and noises.
Yeah.
Boring.
And the group of you successfully make it out of the maws of Janus Corporation alive, with most of the skin on your back.
Yeah.
I only lost 5 credits, but
so.
I won back mine, so I'm good.
Yeah, and there's probably that moment Mouse or Dash is yeah, I made 10 credits. And you're what? How did you make money?
Really? You could make money on these things?
Yeah, exactly. Tries to go back in, but Kin just grabs her by the back of the shirt and continues walking into the cab. So you guys get a space, a coronet Uber, and I assume you're returning back to your ship, probably.
Yeah, that's probably the safest spot.
It is.
Yeah.
As is typical with tabletop RPGs and sci-fi, where you have a ship, that is always the safest place.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the tavern in fantasy games.
Unless you're playing Olympus.
Until we do that Firefly episode where that one bounty hunter gets on the ship or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Am I a lion?
So, group of you get back on your ship, and you have a moment to kind of breathe and relax. And I assume there's official crew meeting number 3, I think, at this point. And so you were I mean, this is a success, I think, in the grand scheme of things. You were able to get there. There's obviously a very a much deeper level that you guys weren't on when you were when Lucia was speaking. But to your advantage in this case, it's good that you probably don't know what the deeper level is, because you were able to negotiate kind of on even terms, and not even really negotiate, but you weren't really in any danger where you were. And I think you then realized the cunning of the Zul'Zan alliance, right? That was purposeful. if any of them had shown up, anybody that had any actual connection to
toasted.
Yeah, they just would have been like tortured for information, right? Like, but because it was you, and because the Janus Corporation does almost everything within the letter of the law, right? Like, they're very stringent about that. Lucia Janus can't rightfully just like abduct 5 people and, you know, torture them for information or whatever. Psychological torture, of course.
The genius is send a bunch of lovable idiots who don't know anything and
you know, what did I say about tropes at the beginning of this session? I love them. I use them all the time because it makes everything so better. Everybody understands. Okay, cool. So you guys are back. So successful mission. It appears, at least on the surface, that Lucia is willing to negotiate, but she needs assurances that, you know, the typical kidnapper situation, right? Where, how do I know he's still alive? Like, how do I know that you're not just trying to get me to sign this paper and then come to realize he's been messed up or, you know, has some like massive psychological damage or whatever at this point, that I'm going to get screwed on this deal. So she needs some sort of assurances. So now the next step is to kind of figure out how to get those said assurances. So you all sit down over your... It's late evening probably by this point, after you were able to finally drag Mouse away from the slot machines. So it's probably like a midnight snack level or territory, or like, you know, that final cup of tea before bedtime or whatever.
Blue milk, yeah, or that final cup of blue milk, exactly. So what do you guys do? What do you guys say? Who remarks first on your experience?
I'll turn to probably Jax, because I think he's more of the... He would probably have more experience in something like this. Like, how would we prove to Lucia that her boyfriend's alive?
I really want to be like, well, usually we'd use a finger, but...
Yeah, and I kind of emphasize like the alive and intact kind of thing.
I think we need to speak to...
Hakan.
Hey, I have a question.
Hakar, yeah, sorry, Hakar. Henkar, Jesus.
Henkar.
Henkar.
I think we need to speak to Henkar. The best solution would be if they were to turn the lover over into our custody, and then we would release him upon the conclusion of the meeting. That way, we are verifying that he is well, and as the mediating party, we have no qualm. We definitely wouldn't want to piss off Lucia by saying that and getting in her bad books. So we take him into our custody, and, you know, some of us go to the meeting, and maybe Dash and RK fly off in the ship with him in it, and they go park somewhere random, and then after the successful conclusion of the meeting, you know, they could come drop him off at a spot of her choosing. It also means that we have a ship ready to go in case something bad happens, because while I don't think that either of these people necessarily are planning on screwing us over, they very well could want to screw each other over.
Seems like a logical plan.
Didn't she seem kind of confident for someone that has their lover was taken? Like, she seems kind of like chill about it.
Shooting a meaningful look at Xian, Jax would say, I think she came across as confident because she's very powerful in more ways than one.
I mean,
she strikes me as someone who knows that she's going to get her way in some way in the end. This is just one of those possible outcomes for her.
I mean, I get that, but there wasn't really even any sort of, like, pretense of worry. like I don't doubt that she's, you know, like powerful and all that, but like she didn't seem to care that much.
Yeah, so if you wanted to like try and gauge her reactions to the whole thing, you could like think back on it and roll like a perception check. You know,
Yeah,
opposed
I'd like to
opposed
do
by
that.
one of her statistics, right? Yeah, just to like, you know,
Can I roll
maybe
that as well?
in the moment you didn't quite recognize. Yeah, anybody could. Maybe like in the moment you didn't recognize it, right? But now that you're trying to figure it out, now I will warn you before I make you roll this. She's very good at this kind of stuff.
I mean,
So it actually might kind of like come back on you if you fail. Just to give you an example, if she is trying to deceive you, she has 4 red dice.
I mean,
Just FYI.
What is that,
now,
like Nemesis 4 or something?
it's pretty high, yeah. You guys wanted a big strong enemy, and I made one.
Okay.
I don't remember ever asking for that.
Zian asked for that, by the way, in case anyone was curious of who to blame.
When did I ask for that specifically?
Remember that one time you said, "Man, I hope there's a nemesis involved soon."
Oh yeah. Okay.
You
remember
did
that one time.
It's a
Handedly.
current
Yeah, I
characters
mean,
are the best.
Let's just try and hope for the best.
So yeah, here's the thing.
Yeah, Mouse is inquisitive enough that she'd want to know this.
Yeah,
but
so
like, even if I failed,
can we pool our resources? Like my perception
absolutely.
is supposed to be pretty good. I want to flip a light side, but
Yeah,
could
go
I
for
get a boost die from Mouse and a boost die from Zian because they're also
You get
going back
2
and we're
boost
like,
dice from me.
I'm saying, can we try and like, because we're comparing notes, right?
Yeah, so like combined checks here are involved with like people being able to give you boost dice and assist
let's
you with
roll
this.
and see, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna make a perception check,
And
I'm
then
gonna
everybody
flip
else
a
is going
light
to
side
assist.
point.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna flip a light side point, which means I'll have 3 yellow dice.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
if I assist, I should give you 2 because of my racial.
Oh, correct. Yeah, because if you assist somebody in a check, it gives an additional blue dice, right?
Right.
And then if Mouse wants to assist, she can give me a blue dice.
Well, I have a
Anyone
rank
else
in
wants-
perception, so I could technically give you blue dice.
I mean, I'm not afraid to add 4 blue dice to this check because you guys might succeed, but there's definitely going to be some bad shit on here, right? Like,
I mean, I feel like this is not metagaming wise. This is not the call to make, but in game wise, this is the call that is being made.
Yeah. So
let's
here's
try and mitigate the disaster, people.
So here's how it's gonna work, right? So she's very good at this kind of stuff, like I said. So it's going to be like a very hard roll. Any like despairs or threats here are probably going to be applied to the upcoming scenario, right?
Yeah.
So like any like significant despairs here won't affect you right now. They'll probably affect the scenario in general.
Yeah.
But successes here are going to give you like maybe a bit of insight into her like subtle motions and like how she actually reacted to things. Because I was wondering if any of you were going to do this in the moment, because I was going to actually apply a couple of things. But since we're doing this as like a flashback thing, it works out just as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mouse is naturally inquisitive enough to be like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing it in the moment as well, but
it's totally cool. So I've got a total of 4 blue dice, an upgrade on your side, and the deception score of Lucia Janice in the pool.
Cool. Kai, Kin, can Kin add any boosting, or is that not?
Kin should probably. He has photographic memory. He should be able to help.
Yeah, well, and also Kin, you're not that your perception, quote unquote, is better because you're a droid, but like you notice things that would like escape humans, right? Like you notice subtle ticks and stuff that humans would just think to be normal. Okay, yeah. So I'll add another boost dice for that. I don't care.
Sweet. All right, I'm ready.
Could be the best check ever.
Go ahead and roll it. I'm ready.
Oh,
Holy
come on.
shit!
Come on.
Oh,
we can't even get a despair with 4 of them.
That's like such an amazing outcome for what we rolled, but at the same time, also like wah.
So
yeah, but it's just a failure. It's not like a despair, and we did get advantages.
Yeah.
No. So I think here's how this works, right? Because I said it's all going to apply to like the upcoming scenario. The scenario is going to be advantageous for you all based on your like
but
wants,
you don't know why.
Your plan and like
so,
It's
like no, nothing seemed off, but like something seemed off.
Yeah, it's like so like she seems earnest, or at least to you all, she seemed as earnest as possible. As much as she could be. And
but that's what's so weird. Is like,
right. Yeah. That's what's so weird. And I think that Jax, your plan is solid, right? So like your plan of what you need to do is solid. Now, had you rolled anything bad there, I'm just gonna pre-warn you, like they might have seen it as an opportunity to get what they wanted in the first place, right? But with your advantage, you're gonna negate that. They're gonna be honorable, at least for now, until the situation changes. But I think that with all of that advantage, it's 5. I'm actually gonna make a note before I forget, because I will forget by next. Hold up, notepad. Okay. So you rolled +5 advantage on perception versus deception. Okay, cool. So +5 advantage on that. So the situation that you will be put in, and to throw it out there, this is probably a great place to kind of like call it quits soon, after like this upcoming scene here that I described for you, but when we start next week, perhaps we will be week after. Thank you. I won't be here next week. I'll be on a plane probably. When we start the week after, we will probably start like kind of in media res, right, where the exchange is like happening, right? But it will be advantageous for you all in some way. So it's good.
I would like to attempt to do some research on that necklace she's got.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few minutes left. I was just kind of laying it out so you guys know what's going on there. So we have a few minutes left. So again, you guys go through that entire like you're kind of racking your brain, and you're like, man, I don't know about like she did show, like, it's not like she was a droid, right? Like she showed emotion, like she was obviously concerned about the scenario, but also she was confident, everything you guys already said, but unfortunately you're unable to determine anything additional. So
can I calm Henkar and tell her about our meeting, and put forth my plan and see if she's amenable to handing over the wee lad?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think
been watching
that
a lot of Outlander recently. I apologize for that.
I think that you contact Henkar, and she's like, oh yes, that seems good. Yes. Perhaps we should maybe know where this meeting place is beforehand. Maybe we can, make sure that the exchange is done appropriately.
I'm gonna put my hand over the mic and look to the others and be like, I want to trust these guys, but I feel like we should be the only ones who know the meeting place.
Yeah. Maybe we should let one of their crew members onto our ship, so that they have a horse in this race.
That leaves Dash and RK vulnerable to a potential attack.
I mean, Dash can take care of himself.
But what if we need him to fly the ship?
I mean,
I am in the ship. She's staying with us.
Yes, but adding that extra unknown factor into the equation could throw off the result.
So the way
the
way Jax goes, this is the way I'm envisioning the plan going down. We will take possession of the lover, and Dash and RK will take him in the last chance. Is that right? I forgot what we called it. In the ship, and they will fly it to some undisclosed location.
Close call.
The close call, yes. And fly it to an undisclosed location. After the meeting is over and everything has been signed, they will then come and deposit the hostage at a location of Lucia Janice's choosing. Thank you. If things go badly, they could also fly in and provide us with some support in the case of things going really bad, because I'm assuming one of them can fly and the other one can shoot. Therefore, we'd have some quite powerful firepower at our disposal should we need it. In order for that plan to work, we need both of them to be able to focus on that and only that. So I feel like bringing any extra people on the ship makes our ace in the hole backup plan a bit at risk. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What I would like is Hankar gives us the guy. We then pick a we then pick a location. We tell each party half an hour in advance where that location is. Myself, Mouse, Zian, and Kin, or Mouse if you'd rather stay on the ship, if you think a mechanic would be more useful on the ship.
Yeah.
Let us know. We would go, moderate the meeting, and if the meeting ends up going well, then everyone leaves happy. We drop off the hostage. If it ends up not going well or a meeting isn't out, we return the hostage. But that way we are in control of the hostage, and we have the power both to say that he is safe and well, but also that he cannot be, taken by force at this time.
Yeah, sounds legit. I would also say that instead of delivering him wherever Janice wants it, we just pick the location to be one where we can drop the ship off, and so we can deliver it there, and that way we don't have that extra leg of what if she has a trap set up or something,
Yeah, that works better.
Yeah, that all seems great. And I think that during your phone conversation with Henkar, you convince her that that's probably the best plan, and I think you get all right, well, we asked you to take care of it, so we might as well let you take care of it, and they agree to that plan. Part of your advantage is that both parties agree to the plan, right? I assume that someone also relays this to Raquel, Janice's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So someone relays that there, obviously, as well. And
for the sake of ease, should we say that Zian is the point of call with them and I'm the point of call with Zulksan just for now?
Sure. I mean, yeah. It's fine with me. So Zian, you relay that information.
Yep.
And everybody is all hunky dory with that, and so we have enough time for a couple more checks here. Zian, you mentioned that you were interested in that necklace, because it's the second time where there's been some
bothering me.
Yeah, there's
coming up.
It's the second time that something weird has happened with it, right? Like the first time you heard those whispers, right?
Yeah.
Those weird, crazy ramblings. Oh.
I'd like to do a knowledge check.
Yeah, knowledge.
Research.
Knowledge is definitely the thing here. Oh, my computer is just shitting the bed right now. So Just give me a second. I need to restart it before I do anything. Game is over. It is slowly dying on me. Because I can't even. Nice, right? But this is the weird thing about my computer. Y'all can hear me fine, right? Everything's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the entire thing is frozen currently.
Are you sure? Are you using Firefox? Because I had that problem with Firefox a lot.
I use Chrome. It's a problem that my computer specifically has. Literally every single part of it has changed. I actually think every single part of my computer has been changed except for the hard drive. I actually think it's a hard drive issue because I've had this problem since I built this computer like 7 years ago, or something ridiculous like that. So,
have you ever tried reseating your RAM? Sounds like a reseating the RAM kind of issue.
Yeah, I've even changed RAM. Like,
oh wow,
completely different. I've tried each port. I've tried all kinds of stuff, man. It just has random occasional video freezes. It's not video drivers because I constantly update those. I've changed video cards twice. Like, some weird stuff, man. My only suspicion is that it is a hard drive. Okay. Let's see here. So you want to make a knowledge. Which type of knowledge check is this gonna be? Lore, yeah, lore, right? That's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
I think it's gonna be hard, and
I'm gonna flip.
Yeah, go ahead and flip it back. There we go. Perfect.
End of the session. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah. You guys got to use a lot. You guys got to use a lot more than I did, obviously, because you had all of them in the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a hard check. I'm upgrading it once because there is room for
roll?
despair here. Yeah, go for it.
Ooh.
Hey. So, I believe that there was a point in your letter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Where you had spoken with your master about like things that this maybe like could be. Obviously, that it was dangerous, etc., etc. So I think that what is most appropriate here is how are you doing this research? That is my question. So I know what type of answer to give you.
It's probably going to be seeing whatever we can find from the current computer's databanks, and if there's not a whole lot there, maybe trying to go into the city more and find like a terminal or something that's available late night, maybe like some sort of library type situation.
Okay. Yeah, so you end up getting on like the dark web, right? Like you eventually end up getting into the net that has like a bunch of like you're probably on some like conspiracy theory type of like information or book. And there's obviously like in Star Wars, right? So there's actually still libraries, right?
Yeah.
So like you actually could go to a library and like, you know, there's all these different tomes and stuff and you're glancing through. And so I think that you come across a passage that talks about kind of in a superfluous way. It talks about how there are devices that can kind of be interacted with the Force in like non-traditional ways that we would understand it. Like your power move interacts with objects in the fact that it kind of surrounds the object with the Force and then moves it, right? This passage talks about how there are certain objects that can be interacted with on a more direct level to influence them. A lot of what it talks about is like specific Force users who are able to like influence plant growth. It ties in with like your influence power as well a little bit, but on like a grander, more permanent scale. And then the ability to interact with like the culmination of the influence is that you can eventually apply the same types of directions to physical objects that are not organic or alive. And while it does kind of talk about this in like a superfluous way, I don't want you to take that strain, because the threat here is that the information, it's a success. You gain some information on what this might be, but the threat here is going to be represented by the fact that it may not be as reliable a source as you want.
Right.
So obviously what this is kind of talking about, maybe you've heard some stories before of something called a holocron, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure holocron would have been brought up at one point.
At one point, right? So this is kind of talking in the New Age way that they talk about holocrons. The word holocron, like what they were used for, doesn't exist anymore, remember? So now all of these different force sects, like when you get to that level, you can do this sort of thing, basically make what we as players understand as a holocron, but they're not as specific. Like there's not specifically Sith holocrons and there's not specifically Jedi holocrons, right? It's just like there are objects in the universe that might be influenced by the Force in such a way that they may even become somewhat sentient, because of, and it's all talks about like the varying nature of the Force user itself.
Right.
And I think that the reason why this strikes you during your lore check, the reason why this strikes you is the fact that it talks about how they have been known to become like family heirlooms, especially for people who are unaware of what they actually are. They can influence decisions and ideas of the people who remain in close contact with them for long periods of time.
Yeah.
In addition, they can communicate in both normal ways that we would understand it by actually like having a projected voice, but they also have the ability to directly communicate with people through things like telepathy or other types of powers. And so all of that kind of culminates into the fact that like, this might certainly be a holocron of some sort. The fact that it's able to influence, it seems like you were the only one that it's like kind of tied to, like that kind of is affected by it. So, and then I think because this source isn't like a like confident source, you realize like at the very end, like this is all very interesting. When you realize at the very end that this is a like it's a term paper that's been published. It's like a it's like a grad school term paper that's been published by an individual here on Coronet, the University of Coronet. Let me get a name for you. So, you know, perhaps going and talking to that person might be pretty cool. But I think that his name is this is the name that is listed on the paper. Domern Cadjoy. Or Chadjoy, I'm sorry. Domern Chadjoy.
Okay.
So this all sounds like exactly what you've been experiencing and what you've been doing. But obviously until you like got your hands on it, you could never really confirm. But you have at least your suspicions perhaps are headed in the direction that you need to go in.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Cool.
So, does anybody else have any final thoughts? Final actions?
Well, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot I was on push to talk. I need to do the robot thing.
Oh, you want to try and fix the robot a little bit more?
Yeah, some time has passed and we have time, so I want to try it again. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a leg and an arm.
Okay. You have a leg and an arm, and you want to attach them, right?
I need a torso to do that. Right now, it's just a head.
It's just a head, true. But remember, didn't last time you fail, right? Like you failed with
I succeeded. I need to fix them 4 more times.
Oh right, I gave you a clock. Right.
Yeah. But didn't we get a body for it last time?
Yeah, didn't you mount it on like a toaster or something?
That thing was just
yeah, it was like a mouse droid, wasn't it?
We got some parts of that scrap shop, and
yeah, you can begin the workings. It's basically C-3PO from Episode 1, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you can upgrade to, maybe. Okay. So it's not working on like the head part right now. Just trying to like get a chassis going is not as hard as it was before. So it's just gonna be an average mechanics check for this one.
Okay.
Do a flip the point.
You can flip the point if you want.
Yeah, I'll flip a point.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it. Might as well.
I need to click that thingy, don't I?
Do.
No. Where is it?
Do you want me to do it for you?
There it is. Okay, cool. Go ahead and roll.
My mechanics. There it is.
Hey,
Yay.
nice. So you do succeed. You do succeed. So you have like a basic chassis. Also, I think that like the important thing that you need now is you have like a basic chassis. It could probably be mobile, but kind of roughly. You need really like the power source. That's kind of like the next big step is getting a power source that's going to be able to support all of this, because droid power sources are not like your typical battery, right? Like it's like a you know, an entire vehicle engine. Like you need all of that different inner mechanical workings to kind of get it working. Right now you kind of just have a husk.
Can I have it jump to the ship right now? Like
yeah, right. Yeah, that's basically the only way you can get it power right now is you have it plugged into the fucking wall plug in the ship.
No, I have like it hot wired to the engine.
Even better. Even better. But yeah, congratulations on the success.
Woo! Cool. Only 3 more times.
Dash, did you have something?
Now this is kind of impromptu because I wouldn't know, because you know, the thing is, when looking at the Jedi immigrant thing, when basically it says like you need something to legitimately jumpstart your sense of, oh my god, I have the Force. I'm guessing that I don't already have this kind of like moment. Yeah. So I'm guessing
emergent. It's not correct. Yeah, emergent. Yeah, no, there's gonna need to be. We'll talk off stream. Okay. We'll talk in between sessions because we'll have to design like a catalyst for your if that's something you want to do in the future. We'll have to design like a scenario, which there are plenty of opportunities very quickly upcoming. So no worries on that.
I'm also assuming like you got your heavy blaster back from the casino.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So, like, all that just happened.
Yeah, I give it back to you.
Yeah, all that just happens. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and do outro. I promised to be on time and I wasn't. So congratulations, extra 8 minutes. Everybody take I think 10 experience for today. We'll bump it up once we finally complete this, which should be next session. Cool. As long as everything goes well.
And that will be the 12th, right?
Yes, so it will be the no, not the 12th. The 12th. I'm sorry, the 12th. Correct. The 12th of October will be the next session we play. Okay.
Cool.
Hey, thanks for all being here. I hope you guys had fun today.
Yeah, really good, really good.
Yeah, let's see how my morality goes.
Oh yeah, oh, there you go. You're just the most moral person.
Even though you use fear.
I didn't use fear, but I used the dark side to accomplish a mission, and then the bit with Janice, very unsettling, and I think I was conflicted about how that. So I added an extra conflict because I try and give myself as much conflict as I can.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, it's one of those things where like there has to be some give and take there. If you had failed that discipline check, that certainly would have been.
Oh yeah.
Some serious conflict.
That would have been a lot of conflict, I'm sure.
So.
I'm gonna go. So see you guys. I have to wake up early tomorrow.
See you guys. I will talk to you all later. Goodbye. Okay. Hello, everyone. Glad you could be here. We're gonna go ahead and close it out. A little bit of extra on the end of the session. For those of you watching live, I apologize about the issues with the computer. I have to figure that out. I think it just needs to be blown out. I think it might be overheating a little bit, but it's totally no problem. Thank you all for being here. It's been wonderful. It's been hilarious and fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed the session. I really enjoyed today's session. Actually, it was really a lot of fun. Lots of narrative stuff. I finally got to play Lucia Janice, who is an awesome character, and can't wait to bring her back multiple times throughout the upcoming sessions. So, hope you all had fun. I'm gonna go ahead and close out the stream, and we'll see everybody next time on Fractured Orders. Bye.